meeting will come to order. Please rise for a moment of silence in memory of Larry Lincoln, brother of freeholder Millie Scott, who passed away. A moment. For the invocation, I'd like the Father Robert Council from the Trinity Esposito Church in Woodbridge.
Let us pray. Almighty God, you continue to sustain us with your blessings daily. Give us your grace to those who have been called to take the authority of government in Middlesex County, that they may always be guided by their conscience to serve those whom they represent with sensitivity and dedication. Grant them the vision to see new possibilities as they seek to serve the communities they represent. Grant them the imagination and wisdom and courage required to do their jobs to the best of their abilities. Assist them with your grace as they work to address the problems we face as a society, with compassion for the homeless and the hungry, for those suffering from HIV and AIDS and other illnesses, for the victims of crime, and for those in any need. Give them the ability to treasure, preserve, and protect the heritage of this county as they balance it with the ever-changing needs of the area. Help them to seek out and answer the needs of the county as they manage the resources at their disposal in such a way as to accomplish that which is needed to further progress in Middlesex County. Grant that through their leadership, we may work together to preserve the historic heritage of this county while reaching out to those in any need to provide them with a safe, secure, and peaceful home in the county of Middlesex. Amen.
Thank you, Father. At this time, I want John rise allegiance to the pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Notice of
Madam
this
Clerk,
meeting.
go ahead.
Notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-10, has been complied with and shall be entered into the minutes of this meeting.
Okay, roll call.
Freeholder Barrett.
Here.
Freeholder Polos.
Here.
Freeholder Rafano.
Here.
Freeholder Rios.
Here.
Freeholder Scott. Freeholder Valenti.
Here.
Freeholder Director Delina.
Here. At this time, I'd like to recognize Assemblyman John Wodzinski, who will make a presentation to Freeholder Polis and Steve Fattanti.
Freeholder Director Delina, members of the board, Father Councilman, ladies and gentlemen, it's with a great deal of pleasure that I have the opportunity to present a joint legislative resolution to Steve Fattanti and Freeholder Polos on Middlesex County's area shuttle program receiving the United States Department of Transportation United We Ride Leadership Award. And if I may, Director, if I can just explain what that award is. Every year since 2004, the Department of Transportation has looked for counties that achieve efficiency in eliminating duplication and coordinating the expenditure of scarce transportation dollars from the 64 different federal funding sources that are allocated for transportation. Middlesex County this year was selected as a recipient of the United We Ride Leadership Award out of 47 counties that were nominated nationwide. And there are truly thousands and thousands of counties that were possible candidates. 47 were nominated, and Middlesex County is the recipient of this award. There are a couple of facts that really stand out, and I think that the public needs to know about what Middlesex County has been able to achieve with its community shuttle program. The community shuttle program has generated an additional 250,000 annual passenger trips. In 4 years, this expansion is larger than the annual ridership in all but 4 other counties in the state of New Jersey. Most importantly, the program has doubled the per revenue hour productivity of the MCAT system, resulting in continued expansion despite reductions in funding that have happened at all levels of government. Middlesex County, through its leadership and through the Freeholder Board, Freeholder Polos, Mr. Fattanti, has demonstrated how government can operate efficiently and provide more services in lean times. And so on behalf of myself and my colleague in the Senate, Senator Joseph Vitale, I'd like to present to both of you this joint legislative resolution recognizing the achievement of Middlesex County, recognizing the efficiencies that you've achieved in providing government services, and recognizing all the hard work you do. Congratulations.
Assemblyman, I would like to thank you on behalf of the county, on behalf of the Department of Transportation. We're certainly very proud to have received the federal award and very proud to have you here today recognizing us at a state level. And as the board is well aware, but the public may not be, we're very fortunate to have an Assemblyman who is Chairman of Transportation in the Assembly, who has been such a staunch advocate for transportation issues throughout the state, and in particular for those of us here in Middlesex County. During our tenure, my tenure as the freeholder in charge of transportation for the last 4 years, I've gone to the Assemblyman and his office staff many times to ask for assistance on various issues, on everything from new technology and hybrid buses to modifying whether or not vehicles can pass paratransit buses. There's legislation now that says that you cannot pass New Jersey transit buses. We wanted similar legislation for paratransit, and the Assemblyman said, that's great, we will work on that. He always has an open mind and willing to help us. And more recently took a very bold initiative to change some funding sources for transportation that will trickle down to our county through his committee, and I want to publicly thank him for that. He took the lead to request that the state change the way casino revenue funds are distributed for transportation. As many of you know, it is the casino revenue which provides much of the funding for transportation at the county level. That's why we always encourage people to go to Atlantic City, and we say that to senior groups on a regular basis. But through the Assemblyman's efforts, we now have legislation which is going to change the funding from 7.5% of revenues to 8.5% of revenues. This will mean an increase of approximately $4 million in funding statewide, which equates to about $300,000 in additional funding for Middlesex County. Through his efforts and leadership, it passed through his committee. It was also supported by Senator Buono through her committee in the Senate level, and is now with the Appropriations Committee in the Assembly. So there is a lot that is going on at the state level, thanks again to his leadership and his stewardship, which is helping our county every day not only achieve awards like this, but be able to provide the best possible transportation for the residents of Middlesex County. So thank you, Assemblyman. Thanks to the Freeholder Board for their support for DOT, and publicly, thanks to every driver, administrative person, clerk, mechanic, secretary, who help make transportation what it is in Middlesex County, and to all of our riders and customers who really appreciate the service that we provide. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Assemblyman Winsky and John. And congratulations. Okay, we will go now into reports of freeholders. Carol Barrett.
Yes, I just wanted to remind everyone that on May 16th, on Saturday, at the Middlesex County Highways in Sayreville, will be the drop-off for household hazardous waste. And also in in April 25th in Spotswood, we'll have the schedule of the paper shred events. If you have a lot of the paper, you don't have a shredder at home, bring it in a hefty bag, bring it to one of these locations, and they'll shred it for you. April 25th at Spotswood, it's going to be at the municipal parking lot, Summerhill Road. On May 2nd, North Brunswick at the municipal parking lot. May 15th in Highland Park at the Senior Center parking lot. And on May 30th, it'll be in Sayreville at the Recycling Center, and on the 30th in East Brunswick at the Votech High School. The times are 9 a.m. till 1 p.m. Also, I would just like to state that, first of all, one of our department heads is going to be honored tomorrow evening, and it's our planning director, George Varavides. And it's the NJPO, and it sponsors, it selects someone, each person, once a year, and this year it is George. And for us that know George, know he's certainly very deserving of any kind of award, but this is a very prestigious planning award, and we're very happy that he's going to receive it and very proud. I'm honored and was very lucky when I became a freeholder to be given planning and engineering. So two of my very dear friends, John Reiser and George, who I guess we know each other, all of us, about 45 years or so. So I was very honored to be able to work with both George and John. And George, I don't know where you're at, but congratulations. And I'll see you tomorrow night, and we'll have a drink to toast to your success.
Thank you. That's it, Carol?
That's it.
Thank you very much. Okay. Our next report, A. James Paulus. Jimmy, you have a report?
Thank you. Brief one, Director. We are in the process of our energy audit at our North Brunswick complex. It's being funded by the state, 75% of it. Much of the research has been done. There's still some additional data that has to be retrieved, and then we will be receiving a report from them to determine what type of improvements we can make at our North Brunswick complex to be able to reduce our energy consumption, save money. And again, as we always say in Middlesex County, to go green is to save green. Not only saves our environment, but saves dollars as well. We had a meeting with our partners regarding our shared service initiative for a truck and vehicle washing facility, which includes North Brunswick, South Brunswick, East Brunswick, and New Brunswick. We had received, and I want to thank purchasing and engineering, proposals in from several engineering companies. The group has selected CME Engineering to serve as the engineer to do the initial phase and design study for this new facility, which will be an automatic washing facility to meet the new stormwater regulations. The sharing and cooperative venture is going to reduce everyone's costs significantly rather than each individual community in the county building their own. We'll be siting this facility at the North Brunswick complex out on Route 130. We also, through the Department of Shared Services, were successful in receiving a $67,000 grant to do a public safety dispatch survey and initiative in the southern part of the county, which involves several communities. It came as a result of months of work with several communities, working with the state to look at ways that we could improve public safety dispatching, again, in the southern territory of the county. And last but not least, I was not at the meeting on Monday. I'll just share this with the board, maybe for consideration. I was at the last minute asked to attend, my wife had intended to go a fifth grade camping trip to Camp Bernie in Califon. Now you may be wondering why I'm sharing that with you, not to just tell you what I've been doing for the last 3 days, but it was a great experience to see the kids in a 350-acre natural environment. They did all kinds of activities outside. It was run by the YMCA. Sparse accommodations, needless to say. I don't think it was anything I had been in before, but it was certainly clean, neat, and a lot of fun. The kids had a wonderful time. They learned a lot. There were great activities out there to learn about the environment and the creeks and the streams, compass reading, hiking, trails, etc. And I just couldn't help but think that a facility like that in Middlesex County would be a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for the kids. So with all of our open space and opportunities and rec programs, maybe rather than having to transport kids to Califon, maybe it's something that we could think about doing in Middlesex County and make it a real fun and educational opportunity for our open space. That's it, Director.
Okay, thank you. Our next freeholder, Deputy Director Krista D. Rafano.
Progress.
Every week, progress. I don't know where the progress is coming from, but we'll find out someday. Next freeholder, Ron Rios.
Thank you, Director. As far as my report on the Health Department, we will be holding our 2009 Health Expo Saturday, May 9th from 1 to 5 p.m., and that will be held at Woodbridge Center Mall, and their information and activities will be available for the whole family. Different services will be provided for adults, include blood pressure screening and different screenings. Our health fair will be held, another health fair will be held is corroborating with our Muslim Center at the Middlesex County Health Fair, at the Muslim Center in Piscataway on April 25th. And we'll be providing substance abuse topics, obesity, cancer prevention, and emergency preparedness. A new federal law was enacted in December, and that's the Pool and Spa Safety Act, and it was named after the person that was lost and for the young girl who died after suction from a hot tub drain, and she was trapped underwater. And the main section of the act is that every public pool, wading pool, and hot tub must be equipped with new anti-entrapment drain covers. So all operators have been notified, and hopefully we will prevent anything from happening like this again. Our public health employees completed a health and safety training. Tonight's agenda, we will be accepting a grant fund. We're always looking to accept grant funds from the state of New Jersey or from the federal government. Tonight we'll be accepting a grant for the amount of $239,685 from the New Jersey DEP. And as far as my report on the Raritan Bay Mental Health Center, we will be accepting another grant tonight for $50,000 from the State Department of Human Services, and we will be using it to make renovations to the health center. And of course, in these economic times, we continue to provide health services to our needy at the health center over there. As far as the college, on March 29th, we had our annual spring open house, which was held for prospective students, and we had an overwhelming response on that. April is Liberal Arts Month at the college, and we have a variety of different liberal art programs going on over there. Last night, Director Dolina and myself attended the apprenticeship program graduation at the vocational school, and we had approximately 45 students that graduated from the apprenticeship program, and it was really a great thing that went on there, where all our people there were graduating, whether it be for electricians, plumbers, and they really did a good job. Our vocational school is, I continue to say, is second to none in the state because we really have a great faculty and staff there and administration. As far as our environmental division, we've been monitoring the issue that's been going on in the Caseby section of Woodbridge Township, where we have an operator over there emanating odors from their process that they do there, and violations were issued, and we continue to have meetings with them, and they're working with our environmental division trying to correct their problems. And up to date, they have been fined, or I'm sorry, violations were issued in the total amount of $90,000, and we will continue to monitor that issue. Also, the environmental division of the county has been working with the DEP and the county's planning department to meet the requirements of the newly revised water quality management plan rules that are going into effect in the state. And that completes my report for tonight. Thank you, Director.
Okay, thank you, Freeholder Rios. Our next freeholder, Blanquita B. Valenti.
Thank you, Freeholder Director. This has been a very, very busy week for me, this week and last week. Last Saturday, I was at Rutgers thanking students for their water watch cleanup along 5 different spots that coincide with the Raritan River, where we get our drinking water from. All in all, they had more than 150 volunteers. Actually, they lost track because some kids went to one spot, others went to another. But a great, great event was held. And in New Brunswick, our Public Works Department aided the kids and donated gloves and bags, and there were trucks available to put the refuse that was collected, and quite a bit was collected. So it was good to be there and to welcome the students and thank them for their public service. Also, later that day, I was at the Raritan Bay Area YMCA in Perth Amboy, where they were celebrating Healthy Kids Day, building strong kids, strong families, and strong communities. And it was wonderful to see that many young people and their families out, and it was held outside the Y in the playground area to the left of the building as you face it. It was quite an event. Our Middlesex County Commission on Child Abuse and Missing Children recently had a forum entitled Medicine Cabinets and New Drug Dealers, and it was quite a very informative event. Unfortunately, we didn't get as many people as we thought we would draw, but it was an excellent workshop, very focused, and we had the participation of law enforcement officials, and especially the prosecutor's office that sent some wonderful people to enlighten parents and school counselors, school nurses, etc. This past Monday was the week of the Young Child celebration. At our last meeting, we had a proclamation within the New Brunswick Public Schools, the Office of Early Childhood Education. It was quite a turnout, and I did not revert to my my young years, but April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and all the freeholders got one. Of course, only brave Carol brought hers in, and I brought my big one. And the whole idea of this is to invite your school community to plant a pinwheel garden in a visible location to celebrate the community's commitment to happy, healthy, and safe children, and invite families, faculty, and students to personalize a pinwheel in honor of a child and launch the garden at a special event. And also, they have these cards to be given out. And it was very well attended, and there were representatives from other county groups. It wasn't just limited to New Brunswick. The statistics were incredible, and their guest speaker was Amanda Blackman. She's with the Association for Children of New Jersey, and the statistics she gave, my hair was standing up straight, and from listening to some of the statistics that they provided for us that day. We also had quite a kickoff event today at the Fire Academy, the Human Services Department of Middlesex County, in conjunction with Coordinated Family Care and the Middlesex County Bar Association, the Women Lawyers Section, as well as Catholic Charities, who helped us out with this forum at the Fire Academy. Presiding, the assignment judge, the Honorable Judge Francis Francis, I'm sorry, I changed the names around, and two of our family court judges, both George Daly and Judge Cantor, attended. And the main speaker came from Minnesota, Paula Schaefer, and the title of this conference was Girls and the Law, Risk and Prevention. And you're going to permit me to read some of these highlights. It seems that we don't have a lot in New Jersey on how to deal with girls and rehabilitate these young people. After all, the first juvenile court started in 1898 in Cook County, Illinois, where they had decided that the children should not be treated as adults. And a lot of the rules and the laws involving this is really geared to white Caucasian boys, and there's very little for girls. So it was a great topic, and this is a fact sheet that was provided by the guest speaker, Paula Schaefer from Minnesota. Apparently she's very recognized in this area. And her point is that girls present with higher rates of serious mental health conditions, including post-traumatic stress disorder, psychiatric disorders, attempts of self-harm, and suicide. And these are national statistics. Up to 92% of incarcerated girls have experienced one or more forms of physical, sexual, and or emotional abuse. 70% have been exposed to trauma. 65% experience symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. And 50% more likely to experience PTSD than boys. 45% have been beaten or burned at least once. 40% have been raped. 32% have current or past sexually transmitted disease. 32% have chronic health problems. And girls are 11 times more likely to die while incarcerated. There was so much to this forum today that I hope, and I already got some feedback from people who attended, that it's just overwhelming what's out there, and that we really don't know how to cope with girls in the juvenile justice system. So we have to work on that in New Jersey. And last but not least, I wanted to simply announce that on the 29th of April will be the first kickoff birthday bash sponsored by our Department of Aging, and it will take place in Piscataway. And we have divided the county in 3 groups, and it depends on where you live. That will be the first one. That later one in Old Bridge, and the last one will be in South Brunswick, Carol. Thank you so much for your
And I can go even though I'm not 90,
Thank you very much.
right?
Yes, you can go.
I would like to advise the board and the public that the family roller skating rink in Roosevelt Park opens tomorrow for its 3rd season. The surface of the ice skating rink will be converted to accommodate roller skating, and roller skating rink will be open Friday through Sundays. You hear that, Mickey? And we'll close on Monday and Thursday. General admission will be $3 per person, and 4-wheel skates can be rented for $2 per season. There's a special rate for the season passes, birthday parties, rental of facilities for private events. For further information, you can call Tracy Fatter at 732-745-4484. Now, the parks are gearing up for a wonderful Plays in the Park season. I have to announce that Chris Rufano was cut again from the plays. He couldn't make it this year. I don't know what happened, but we just finished audition and casting all our blockbuster shows, and I'm sure that one day he'll make it. And this is going to be a very special summer. All 3 productions are new to the theater and represent something new everybody wants. The season opens up on June 23rd, July 3rd with Company. The following is from the 15th through July 25th, all shook up. Our last show of the season, which will be presented August 5th through August 15th, is Singing in the Rain, Bring an Umbrella. It's going to be a fantastic season. I hope you'll all be able to come there. A musical act under the stars. I thank you. But I have one more. My second phase of my report is the Cultural Heritage Commission. Suzette Data will make presentation of historical markers for the Trinity Church of Woodbridge. To Father Robert Councilman, Rector of the Trinity Church, David Wilson, Warden, Alan Francis, Clerk of the Vestry, Dr. Dolores Caparo Joffrey, Chairman of the Woodbridge Township Historical Preservation Commission, and Councilman Brenda Velasco from Woodbridge Township. So you're welcome to come up and do your presentation.
Thank you, Freeholder. I'm Suzette Dado from the County Cultural and Heritage Commission. I'm a commissioner with that organization. This is Katie Zavosky, also with the commission, and Katie coordinates the Historic Marker Program. And she does that under the direction of Anna Ashkenaz. I would ask that the people from the Trinity Church come up now, please. The Cultural and Heritage Commission works with local communities and historic groups to promote local historic sites that may be little known to the public and yet are significant in the history of Middlesex County. The Historic Marker Project is funded by the Board of Chosen Freeholders. The historic markers are installed at historic sites in the public right-of-way so as to be visible to people walking or driving by. Tonight, we're pleased to present an historic marker to the Trinity Church in Woodbridge, whose history can be traced back to the 1700s. The actual cast aluminum marker is too heavy to be brought here, but we have a lightweight representation to show you, and I'm told that this has been installed. Woodbridge Township was founded in 1669, and Anglican services were first held there in 1698. The Anglican congregation erected their own building in 1713. The historic Trinity Churchyard was first used as a burial ground for the parish at this time. The Trinity Church that we see today was consecrated in 1861, replacing 3 prior church buildings. The current Trinity Rectory was built by Jonathan Dunham in 1670. Jonathan was the owner of the first grist mill in New Jersey, located near this site. Although the rectory was enlarged and modernized in 1872, the historic fabric of the Dunham House exterior remains. I am happy to present the historic marker to Father Robert Councilman, Rector of Trinity Church.
Thank you very much. You might imagine that history is a special interest of mine, and I'm very delighted that Middlesex County, and particularly the Cultural and Heritage Commission of Middlesex County, has been so active in this area to further the preservation of history and the celebration of history. And so we are delighted to have this marker and to celebrate it. We're also going to have a historic tour of the place on May the 17th. So you're all invited to come and get a tour of the place. So thank you all very much, Freeholders.
Thank you very much, Father. Suzette. Okay, we will deviate from the regular order of business for a purpose of introducing two ordinances. Ordinance number 308. The clerk will read the ordinance by number 308 by title only.
Bond ordinance providing for the acquisition of capital equipment and the undertaking of various 2009 capital improvements at and for facilities of Middlesex County College located within the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, the county, appropriating $2 million therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $2 million bonds or notes of the county for financing such appropriation, and authorizing the public hearing to be held on Thursday, May 7th, 2009 at 7 p.m. and publication thereof.
Okay. Al, you want to make a report on that?
Yeah, this is in accordance with the board's full estimates meeting and also our capital budget. It provides $87,900 for furniture, $1,078,600 for equipment, and $832,500 for facilities. Total of $2 million.
Okay, thank you, Al. Is there a motion to adopt ordinance number 380 on the first reading?
Motion.
Motion by Rufano, seconded by Ron Rios. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Freeholder Barrett?
Yes.
Freeholder Polos?
Yes.
Freeholder Rufano?
Yes.
Freeholder Rios?
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Delina?
Yes. Ordinance number 381. The clerk will read the ordinance number 381 by title only.
Bond ordinance providing for 2009 general capital improvements and the acquisition of equipment for the Middlesex County vocational and technical high schools located within the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, appropriating $3 million therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $3 million bonds or notes of the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, for financing such appropriation, and authorizing a public hearing to be held Thursday, May 7th, 2009 at 7 p.m., and authorizing publication thereof.
Okay, thank you, Margaret. Is there a motion to adopt ordinance 381 on first reading?
Motion.
Motion by Rufano, second by Ron Rios. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Freeholder Barrett?
Yes.
Freeholder Polos?
Yes.
Freeholder Rufano?
Yes.
Freeholder Rios?
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Delina?
Yes. Is there a motion to resume the regular order of business?
Motion.
Motion by Rufano, second by Blanquita Valenti. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Nay. Okay. Proclamation, commencement resolutions and correspondence. Madam Clerk, are there any come to the resolutions this evening?
Yes, we have several tonight. The first is recognizing April 28th as Workers' Memorial Day in Middlesex County. Next is recognizing Stephanie Butevich of South River, as she has been named the 2009 Equestrian of the Year by the New Jersey Department of Agriculture. Next is recognizing Reverend Dr. Kenneth L. Saunders, Sr. of North Stelton AME Church on the occasion of his 20th pastoral anniversary at that church. Next is recognizing the Nursing Division of our Public Health Department for their many contributions to the community, and acknowledging National Social Workers Week, National Nurses Week, and National Public Health Week, which occurred during the month of April. Next is recognizing George Zoffinger and Christopher Palladino, as they have been selected by the George Street Playhouse as the 2009 recipients of the Thomas H. Kane Arts Advocacy Award. Next is recognizing Old Bridge Mayor James Phillips, as he has been selected the 2009 recipient of the Hubert H. Humphrey Friend of Labor Award, and Kevin Duncan of the International Union of Bricklayers and Allied Craft Workers, as he has been named the 2009 recipient of the Labor Person of the Year by the Middlesex County AFL-CIO Labor Council. And last is recognizing Christopher Dybert of Old Bridge on his 10th anniversary as Director of Music Ministries and Liturgy at St. Mary's, South Amboy.
Is there a motion to adopt the commendatory resolutions?
Motion.
Motion by Rufano, seconded by Jim Polis. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Freeholder Barrett?
Yes.
Freeholder Polos?
Yes.
Freeholder Rufano?
Yes.
Freeholder Rios?
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Delina?
Yes. Freeholder presentation, if any, Freeholder Rufano and Ron Rios.
What are you going to present?
Did I say that? Sorry. I'm sorry. Stacy.
Stacy. Come on up, Stacy. Stacy Butevich.
That's right. This is wrong.
I've asked Freeholder Rios to join me up here because Ronnie's oversees extension services and involves a lot of 4-H, and Stacy's very involved with 4-H, but we're going to recognize her for something else. You know, we on the Board of Chosen Freeholders, you know, we love to do things like this and recognize young people that do outstanding things. And for me, this is really exciting because she's from South River, my hometown. I've known her father for many, many years, and we're certainly very proud of her in South River and very proud of her here as a Board of Chosen Freeholders. So let me read this resolution. Whereas it has come to the attention of the Middlesex County Board of Chosen Freeholders that Stacy Butevich is worthy of special recognition as she has been named the 2009 New Jersey State Equestrian of the Year by the New Jersey Department of Agriculture. And whereas a resident of South River and senior at Cardinal McCarrick High School in South Amboy, Stacy Butevich was honored on January 25, 2009 at the New Jersey Breed Equine Breeders Awards Dinner in Freehold. And whereas nominated by the Garden State Horse and Carriage Society for her knowledge of horses, poise, and communication skills, Stacy Butevich was chosen as the 2009 New Jersey State Equestrian of the Year based on interviews, an essay, her resume, and a speech on how horses have affected her life. And whereas a 4-H member, Stacy Butevich has been riding horses for 11 years and has excelled in the 4-H horse project area on the county, state, and national level. She currently serves as a Middlesex County 4-H ambassador, is developing printed promotional material for the 2009 4-H program, and is working to create a public speaking education website for 4-H leaders. And whereas Stacy Butevich will attend Rutgers University School of Environmental and Biological Sciences to major in animal sciences and minor in equine science. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Middlesex that we do hereby recognize and congratulate Stacy Butevich as she is named the 2009 New Jersey State Equestrian of the Year. Congratulations.
Okay, I just wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you to the Board of Freeholders for everything and also for this. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. It's a privilege.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, you want to read correspondence? Oh, you got another one?
There's a few more presentations.
Oh, Ronnie, you got some there? You got presentations, yeah? 5 more?
Five more.
Tom? Charlie Mechanic's not here? No. Okay. Charlie's not here, right? Charlie Mechanic? No. Okay. This is a proclamation, and April 28th is Workers' Memorial Day, and not too many people are aware of what Workers' Memorial Day is. That's the anniversary day of OSHA, and the AFL-CIO set that date aside to remember worker safety in the workplace. And, right away people think that it's, it may be construction sites, and that's not the case. It's not the only place that workers can get hurt. Could be in an office, whether it be a drawer sticking out and someone could trip. And these are long-term effects on people that we all have to be aware of. So we decided to go along with the AFL-CIO and recognize April 28th in Middlesex County as Workers' Memorial Day. And we are going to have a memorial service at 3 p.m. at the site of the New Brunswick High School on Route 27. So Tom Tye is president of the Central Jersey Labor Council. And it's important that we recognize Workers' Memorial Day and bring more awareness to it so people push for worker safety programs, people are more alert in their jobs, and to prevent any accidents on the job, whether it be safety training and just complete awareness. So I would like to, I don't want to read the whole proclamation here and bore everyone. So I'll just present this to Tom Tye, and again, this is just to bring more awareness, and we could reduce the number of injuries on the job. I come from a labor background. I was a union officer for 25 years, and this was something that was very near and dear to my heart in worker safety training. So Tom Tye, this is to you, and hopefully we'll bring more awareness and have a lot of people participate in our Workers' Memorial Day services. Tom, if you want to say a few words.
Just like to thank the chosen freeholders, Director Delina, and everyone else. It's our pleasure. The fight for the workers, whether they're union or non-union, workplace safety is is paramount to us. We fight for the living and we pray for the dead. Thank you.
Thank you, Tommy.
I have resolutions here, and if all of our health nurses that are here, Mary Tarrant, social worker, Christine Lackey, public health investigator, Michelle Canfield, head clinics nurse, Danielle Peloquin, I hope I pronounced that right, supervisor of nurses, Deborah Gash, director of nursing, and Dave Pappy, director of public health. A lot of times we take it for granted when we have illnesses or injuries and we go to the doctor.
Ron, can you look?
I'm
the
sorry.
young lady don't want to come up. Tell her to come up because everybody's bad luck. Come on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And Teresa Hopkins. And as I was saying, a lot of times we take for granted that when we have an injury or an illness that we go to the doctors. But we forget who's with us as patients. And I just happen to be, about 2 months ago, I was hospitalized for 2 weeks in the hospital. And the nurses were there. And they work hard. And our health department nurses and our staff, they work tirelessly. And they really are dedicated people. It takes a certain person to be a nurse. It really does. And I mean that sincerely. So being that this is National Public Health Week and National Social Workers Week and National Nurses Week, I'd like to present these resolutions to all of you on behalf of the Middlesex County Board of Chosen Freeholders for your hard work, dedication, and we say thank you. I'm sorry. Anybody want to say anything?
She has the pictures. I just want to say that I'm very proud of the staff, the work that my staff does. They're excellent workers. They work hard, and the focus is always on the patient and making sure that the patient gets the most services that we can give them.
Let's give them all a nice hand. Thank you, Ron. Madam Clerk, are you ready?
Yes.
Please read the correspondence.
We have a notice of filing of public hearing related to a petition filed by Jersey Central Power and Light Company for a proposed rate increase in connection with a proposed economic stimulus demand response and energy efficiency programs. A notice from Public Service Electric and Gas Company indicating they have filed a petition with the Board of Public Utilities requesting an increase in the charges for electric and gas service to provide and invest in a solar loan 2 program in our service territory. Resolutions from the freeholders of Hunterdon County, Morris County, and Warren County opposing the provision contained in the proposed fiscal year 2009-2010 state budget to reduce funding to the New Jersey county governments for the maintenance of patients in state and county psychiatric facilities. A resolution from the Hunterdon County Board of Freeholders supporting the passage of Assembly Bill 3214, which would eliminate the requirement that sample ballots continue to be mailed out after a confirmation notice is sent if the voter does not respond to the confirmation notice. And resolutions from the Board of Freeholders of Ocean County, Salem County, Somerset County, Sussex County, Union County, and Warren County, opposing the proposed reduction in funding for County Human Services Advisory Councils in the Governor's State Fiscal Year 2010 budget. A resolution from the Union County Board of Freeholders urging Governor Corzine and the members of the New Jersey Legislature to examine all available options to restore $10 million line item for the adult education to the state budget for fiscal year 2010. A resolution from Edison Township Council seeking consent from the Board of Freeholders for the closure of Inman Avenue on or about April 27th through on or about May 12th to allow for the construction of a quiet zone and safe grade crossing at the intersection of Tingley Lane and Conrail train tracks. Copies will be sent to the county engineer. Minutes of the Middlesex County Improvement Authority meeting held March 11th. Minutes of the Middlesex County Mosquito Extermination Commission meeting held February 18th. Minutes of the Middlesex County Planning Board meeting held March 10th. Minutes of the Solid Waste Advisory Council meeting held March 10th. And minutes of the Board of Education of the Vocational Schools in Middlesex County, their meeting held March 11th. And from the National Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence of Middlesex County Incorporated, the new Spanish version of the 2008-2009 Middlesex County Alcohol, Tobacco, and Other Drug Resource Directory. That's all.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Director, can I
Yes?
just one question if I may ask, Director? May I ask one question on?
Yeah, go ahead.
The third one that you mentioned about the solar, could you just, was that from PSE&G?
That was... Yes, PSE&G.
They're requesting what again, Margaret?
They have filed a petition with the BPU requesting an increase in the charges for electric and gas service to provide and invest in a solar loan 2 program in the service territory.
Just to comment on that, and for maybe the board's discussion, and hopefully for resolution, I testified on that about 6 months ago and requested that if the public service is going to institute the program, that there should be a requirement that the solar that's being produced is produced in the state of New Jersey, or at least a portion of it is. Right now, they're using rate taxpayer money, which we're investing into PSE&G to purchase the equipment and the hardware from out of our state. And, you know, we need jobs here, we need opportunity here, we're trying to do green economic development. So I'd like the board's consideration to do a resolution saying that we would support the initiative if they would require that a portion of the manufacturing of that and the assembly occur in New Jersey, maybe even in Middlesex County, so that we can get some economic development opportunity out of it. It seems to me it's our money, it's our ratepayer money, we should be getting some benefit at the end of the day. So if we could discuss that.
Is that okay?
That'd be great.
Okay, everybody accord that we'll do that at the next meeting, all right?
Thank you, Director.
Okay, you're welcome. Is there a motion to accept the correspondence?
Motion.
Motion by Rufano, second by Blanquita Valenti. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay. Is there any resolution to be amended?
There are none.
Is there any resolution to be added?
Yes, Freeholder Director, we have one resolution proposed for addition, and that would be to authorize the purchase of ammunition as required by the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office, Hostage Sort Team, the Sheriff's Department, and Adult Correction Center from Eagle Point Gun in a total amount not to exceed $41,521.40 in accordance with New Jersey State Contract Number 67876, which expires April 30th, 2009.
We need to vote on that?
Yeah, we need a motion.
We need a motion. Panel by Rios, second it, and vote. Roll call vote.
Freeholder Barrett?
Yes.
Freeholder Polos?
Yes.
Freeholder Rufano?
Yes.
Freeholder Rios?
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Dolina?
Yes. Are there any, go ahead.
Excuse me, that would be Resolution 09701.
0971, okay. The resolution to be held?
There are none.
None. Is there any resolution to be voided?
There are none.
None, okay. I will open the meeting to the public discussion on any resolution listed on the agenda. Would anybody like to speak on a resolution? Yes, sir? 5-minute rule. You know there's a 5-minute rule, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, just quickly.
Can you state where you're from?
I'm 1084 Stelton Road, Dan Cummings.
Okay, good.
Just commenting on 09-685 to 09-687, approval of the American Dream Down Payment Initiative. Assistance loan in the amount of $7,500. There's 3 of those. Is that money from the county or money from the state or federal government?
We have Mr. Sully.
Mr. Scott Sully, you want to answer it?
That's federal money that comes to us. It's actually from the Home Investment Partnerships Program. These are done as sort of self-amortizing loans. If the person stays in the house for 10 years, they're forgiven. Otherwise, they have to pay them back proportionally to the number of years they've been in the house.
All right. Do we get a certain number that Middlesex County is allowed to have, or is it just, it depends on the federal requirements in terms of who gets approved?
The people have to be within certain income limits. There's no set number of loans that we can do. It's kind of a first-come, first-served thing. It's a relatively new program.
Okay.
It works well when housing prices are down.
Yeah.
Very well when they're high.
Yeah. It sounds very good. Also, I'd just like to make one comment related to the housing issue. There's been a massive amount of foreclosures due to the economic crisis, and it would be my hope that the Board of Chosen Freeholders would consider putting an end to foreclosures in Middlesex County, at least during the time of this economic crisis. It's great that we're trying to put people in homes, but when you're taking them out of homes faster than you're putting them in, that's a problem. The only other thing I wanted to comment on was the addition, which was the ammunition. Is that like a yearly, that $41,000 figure? Is that something that you guys get new ammunition every year?
Yes. The dollar amount is approximate, but it's close to that every year.
Okay.
The majority of that ammunition is used for qualifications.
Training?
Training.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Yes, sir?
Richard Stewart, New Brunswick, New Jersey. Just a question here. This add-on, 701, will someone explain to me what a sort team is?
Yeah.
The SOAR team is a combination of the different law enforcement agencies in the county, headed up by the prosecutor. Almost every department has someone on it, and if there's a situation that calls for a SWAT type situation, they're called out by the prosecutor. That's how we train people.
But where do you get the word sort?
Special Operations.
Special Operations Unit.
Oh, okay. That's what threw me off. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else would like to speak on any resolutions? Is there a motion to close the public discussion? Rufano made the motion, second by Ron Rios. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? None? Okay, we'll go on to the next one. Does any freeholder wish to have any resolution to wish to remove the consent agenda and vote separately?
I do.
Yes, Blanquita.
On page 7, resolution 09634. Page 7.
I have one.
Go ahead.
On page 3, 09595.
Okay, that's it?
That's it.
Okay, Mr. Kelso?
Yes, motion would be in order to adopt the consent agenda consisting of resolution numbers 09583 through 09701, excluding resolutions 09634 and 09595 to be voted upon separately.
Okay, you need a motion to vote on this?
Motion.
Motion by Rufano, seconded by Rios. Everybody in favor say aye.
Aye.
No, we need a roll call vote.
We need a roll call vote.
Freeholder Barrett?
Yes.
Freeholder Polos?
Yes.
Freeholder Rufano?
Yes.
Freeholder Rios?
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Dolina?
Yes.
Now, Fielder Director, it would be appropriate to
On a separate,
move on resolution 09634.
okay, motion by Rufano,
Second.
seconded by Rios. Roll call vote.
Freeholder Barrett?
Yes.
Freeholder Polos?
Yes.
Freeholder Rufano?
Yes.
Freeholder Rios?
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti?
Present, not voting.
Freeholder Director Dolina?
Okay, yes.
And then finally, resolution 09595.
Need a motion.
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
Rios, seconded by Blanquita Valenti. Roll call.
Freeholder Barrett?
Yes.
Freeholder Polos?
Yes.
Freeholder Rufano?
Present not voting.
Freeholder Rios?
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Dolina?
Okay, yes. Now, at this time, I'll have a motion to close the public hearing.
So
No,
moved.
we have to
We have to open it.
We have to open it. We have to.
I'm sorry, to open it. I need a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion.
Motion by Blanquita.
Second.
Seconded by Rios. The public meeting is now open. Anybody would like to speak? 5-minute rule. Yes, sir, Mr. Barrett?
Stewart.
Stewart.
I'm your Stewart. Stewart, I'm calling you Barrett. Mr. Stewart. Maybe you won't come up if I don't say Stewart.
Beginning to worry about you.
I know that. I'm worried about you more.
One thing that interests me, and it has puzzled me before when I'm reading the newspapers, this question of ammunition. It disturbs me every time I read that people are using armor-piercing ammunition. Where does this come from? I'm sure I can't go down to the hardware or the gun store and buy it. Where is this coming into play? Does anyone know?
If you're asking where it's manufactured, I don't.
But where can you buy it? I mean, I would think that it would be illegal for most purposes other than maybe law enforcement.
It is illegal.
Armor piercing and hollow point bolts are only allowed to be purchased by law enforcement.
Okay. So,
And if you go yourself, you have to show your ID card that qualifies you as a law enforcement officer and also qualifies to carry a weapon to purchase it.
okay. Because it puzzles me, as I say, every time I read in the paper that some of that has been found on somebody. I hope that they, track that down to the best of their ability to find out where it was obtained. Because that is a disturbing factor to me. Just let me mention something else. I have very good impressions of our Middlesex County transit system. But I'm still waiting for one of our vans to go in to the correction center, carry people so that people can come from New Brunswick or wherever and go in, because I still say that's a long walk from 1:30 in, even in nice weather. But it's worse in winter, and it's certainly not a good walk with children on a rainy day. So that I hope that you're working on that. On the historic markers, I would just like to mention one more thing. I don't know whether I've mentioned it here or just at the city council meetings, but we have a historic marker over on the lawn by the New Brunswick Public Library. I don't know how many years I lived here before I happened to read that marker, because I used to hear references to the guest house. I didn't realize that the guest house was the family name with guest. And they've got the marker so far up away from the guest house that you can live here, as I say, for years and not see it. So that I don't know whether people that are interested, like in this marker thing, might ask the New Brunswick Library about locating that further over, nearer to the actual building.
Richard, I think the reason for that, if I'm not mistaken, Blanquita, perhaps, I think the marker is where the building originally was located. That Henry Guest House was moved at some time in the past to accommodate the construction of the library. The marker actually marks the original location.
But that doesn't make any sense today.
Well, I think it makes sense if it's identified as such. You would have a marker where it was and a marker of the building itself.
But it doesn't say that. It doesn't say the
original. It may not say that, but I think that's the reason why it is where it is.
But it doesn't say the original location. Incidentally, don't ask me why about this, but over on Morris Street, right behind the Chandler Clinic, there are two concrete markers about this high for two different streets, the historic streets, and the names are there, but why these two are there in the middle of the block by the Chandler parking lot. I don't know how they ended up there, but that's where they are. They don't serve much of a purpose there as far as the historic message.
I don't know the answer to that one.
I thought you...
It probably has something to do with the historical cemetery that used to be located right behind there.
No, you're in the wrong location. You're one block over.
Maybe the street was to get you there.
And maybe you're the only other person in New Brunswick that knows that there is
a cemetery there.
A cemetery under there.
Time.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Stewart. Anybody else who would like to discuss anything in public hearing? Yeah.
Hello, my name is Marion Monk. I'm from Piscataway. I'm here to talk about a number of things. I'm wondering who has seen or read the governor's report from the Blue Ribbon Advisory Panel on immigration policy in New Jersey. One person.
I know Freeholder Scott, who's not here tonight because of her brother's funeral.
Yeah.
I know she has a copy of it
Good.
also.
Good. And the rest of you, have you read it?
It's quite
seems
long.
to me, yes, this is actually a summary, so it's not that long. And considering the fact that...
You can give it to Margaret if you want. She'll give it up.
Would you distribute those? I want to make sure that I haven't left anything behind. The telltale things behind.
Thank you.
Considering that Middlesex County freeholders have signed a contract with Homeland Security and that we have anywhere between 150 or 187 detainees in this county, it would behoove you to read that summary. I think it's very, very important. I also want to tell you that Middlesex, I don't know how many of you read the New York Times, but it's the most important newspaper probably in the world. And Middlesex County is becoming quite infamous in the New York Times, the front page, in fact, with regard to its immigrant detainees. Has anybody seen, this is April 3rd. I was actually out of the country, and I'll talk about that in a minute. This is an article by Nina Bernstein, Immigrant Detainee Dies and a Life is Buried Too. And on the front page is a letter which we received, New Jersey Civil Rights Defense Committee, a letter from a detainee to Jeanette Gabriel, who has spoken here quite often in the past. And I think I would really appreciate it if you would go to our webpage, New Jersey Civil Rights Defense Committee, and you can see all of these articles in which Middlesex County Detention Center is mentioned. Not in a very good light, I would say. Let's see, April 15th, page A20, there is a reference to an absolutely inconceivable case of an immigrant being arrested for something so minor and so ridiculous and ending up in Middlesex County Detention Center, which Mr. Kelso continues to insist only houses criminals. I really wish you would go to our webpage and read all of these articles. They are very important. I just came back from Prague. It's a place that I have been going for 35 years. I work there intermittently, and I'm very well connected there and have very close friends. One of my closest friends is very close to Václav Havel, the president, the former president of the Czech Republic. This time I asked my friend, Jan Patočka, very sophisticated guy, how undocumented immigrants are dealt with in his country. And I was told that unless somebody actually commits a crime, a real crime, not drinking in public, not driving through a stop sign, not some minor thing, that they are never detained. You must really commit a criminal offense. If you are an undocumented immigrant, and there are many, they're from Turkey, they're from Bosnia, Kosovo, Albania, there are the Romani, there are many, many undocumented immigrants. And there is also an unemployment problem in the Czech Republic, as there is here. People who have jobs, who come to that country to work and have jobs or are looking for work, are cared for. They are not criminalized. They are not detained. Their families are not destroyed. I hope that, I know that the winds, all right, I know things are changing now in this country, and I would hope that you people have the courage to make some changes here in Middlesex. We ask you to cancel that contract.
Anybody else would like to speak?
They're standing behind her.
Huh?
They're in a line.
I know. I both watch. But there's another guy behind her.
Hello, my name is Nikki Newby. I'm one of the committee women from the Democratic Party in Franklin Township. And I just want to read to you today a portion of a letter that we received recently. This letter is from somebody who's currently in Hudson County Jail, still in detention. It's not making any sense to me why this man is detained, because he's from Cuba and has been in this country for over 49 years, having come here as a 2-year-old. And he served in our military. We don't deport people to Cuba, so I don't really understand why he's in a system where people are being processed for deportation, because in any case he will not be deported. But the portion that I wanted to read is he had been in Florida and then was sent back to New Jersey, where there were apparently some charges pending against him. And he writes that within 1 week of my charges being dismissed, I showed up at Salem County Jail to transport me into these custody to a place called Middlesex Correctional Center, a place where I never been treated so bad in my life. They neglected my high blood pressure medication for over 3 days, knowing fully that this was documented on my prison jacket, that I am a high risk, and there is a red alert on my jacket concerning my high blood pressure problem. So, you know, there's other things in this letter that may also be of interest, but this is a part that pertains to Middlesex County Jail, and I thought you should just hear the kind of mail that we get from time to time from detainees about the jail here. And I ask you once again to please seriously think about requesting that ICE detainees not be sent to Middlesex County Jail.
Hi, my name is BJ Koo. I'm actually from New Brunswick. I won't be too long, but I sort of read this disturbing New York Times article today. Basically, a detainee by the name of Encarnacion Bell Romero is actually fighting to regain custody of her son, who, after her incarceration, they were split apart, and he ends up in a foster care home. And I quote her. She says, I don't want my son to be adopted by anyone. She scrawls on a sheet of notebook paper on October 28, 2007, I'd prefer that he be placed in foster care until I am not in jail any longer. I would like to have visitation with my son. The tragic ending of this is the fact that now he's 2 years old. They were separated when he was 6 months, and then when he gets out of jail, there's a chance that he might permanently end up with that foster care family that he's with and not join her when she goes back to Guatemala. I'm not making the accusation that you guys are intentionally part of this situation, nor that what's it called again? Even the intentions of the ICE contract is to destabilize families, etc. And I think in a context like this, it can be a very pretty abstract argumentation, but in terms of the reality that takes place, the destabilizations of families and the lives that are affected, I'm beseeching you, as the leaders of my community, that we cancel this contract and not take part of it. I'm not looking to you to solve the questions of the war or geopolitical questions or why immigration takes place in the first place. But at least as a community that we can at least make a symbolic stance and to say that we don't take part in a policy that sort of rises up from jingoistic extremities of the past that I think as a progressive community we don't want anything to do with, we don't want to be a part of. That what's it called again, that these policies were immediate band-aids to solve something a lot more complicated, a lot more deep, and that they're just sort of like expressions of jingoistic shallow paranoia. And that we as a community don't want it to play in any role with that. And I'm beseeching you as our leaders to end this contract right now and to make a symbolic stance that, that not only a symbolic stance that we take no part in this, but that other communities across this country should follow that lead as well. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Manija Sabah. I'm in Somerset. I have been coming here for over a year and appealing to your sense of American sense, the integrity that this country supposed to portray, to stop cooperating with an organization, with ICE and Homeland Security, that are even going beyond the mandate and requirement of what they are supposed to be doing. And I have found during this year and a half that you are in charge of the most secretive, unaccountable, non-transparent place in this state. I have been to Hudson. I have been in touch with Hudson detainees. I have went to their court cases. I have not had any appointment and I've gone there, and I don't live there. I think this county has to be ashamed of this itself, to hold people in black sight, in a black sight. We have not got any report from you. You have constantly said these people are criminals, and I would like to write sections of a report by Human Rights Watch and a Florida Immigration Center Watch for you to realize that you are participating. This place is not different. Particularly, I'm concerned, and it bothers me and sickens me, because nobody is able, none of us We don't know anybody who has been able to see any of the detainees. Do you know how many detainees do you have at this point in the detention center? Does anybody here know?
How much?
169.
How many? 169. Would you know by any chance what is the shortest or longest term detainee at that point, at this point? How many of these people have been there, 8 days, 3 days, or 6 months, or 2 years, or 3 years? Does anybody know? What is the length?
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Chris, you know?
Yeah. 46 have been there for less than 2 weeks, 45 between 2 weeks and 30 days, 28...
Less than 2 weeks, 46 less than 2 weeks?
Yes.
Uh-huh. And?
Yeah, I can tell you the average number of days spent in the facility is 48.
Average is 48, but you were giving numbers. Would you mind repeating them?
46 less than 2 weeks, 45 between 2 weeks and 30 days, 28 between 31 days and 60 days, 12 between 60 days and 90 days, 8 between 91 days and 120 days, 5 between 121 and 150, 6 between 150 and 180 days, 4 between 6 months and 1 year, and 1 for more than a year.
So actually, the last two groups are not supposed to be there for this long. But we don't know if anybody has visited them. Any outside or independent group have been able to visit them. This is unacceptable. It should be unacceptable to everybody. By the way, do we have any women in this group? No. They're all men. This is Human Rights Watch and other reports, Human Rights Watch and Florida Immigration Advocacy Center reports. Part of it I would read. On March 18, Inter-Service Press published this, that it says clinical staff in U.S. immigration detention centers systematically abuse detainees in their charge, according to 2 reports by Human Rights Watch and Florida Immigration Advocacy Center, FIAC, that describes medical care system in these facilities as dangerously inadequate. The reports released Tuesday detail the callous treatment of detainees, especially women, who are in need of medical attention. Death rates in detention appears to be worsening, said FIAC Executive Director Shirley Leto. Immigration and Custom Enforcement ICE needlessly.
Time.
You don't want to know about this?
That's it. We have your time. 5 minutes. That's what we have. It's an official time.
Means justify the ends, huh? This irresponsible. This shows how irresponsible and careless and heartless all of you are sitting there, that you don't want to know.
We have other people waiting, ma'am. We're going to give them 5 minutes. But you can't have, that's it. You're finished. You're finished. That's our legal.
I would submit these articles for the record. I will submit them. I will submit them in the court. I will.
Yeah.
Dan Cummings, Piscataway. I just want to read, I don't believe that this has been read to you guys yet. I'm not sure if you read it. This is from April 15th, 09, New York Times again, Nina Bernstein again. The headline is Study Says Police Misuse Immigration Inquiry Rule. This has to do with police officers asking people about their immigration status, which is something that they're not allowed to do.
Excuse me, may I ask you one question? You said the Times. Does the Times talk to anybody down there, the officers or the prisoners? Does the Times have questions or answers? They go in and talk to them personally? Time reporters I'm talking about.
Are they allowed in the prison, sir?
Why, are they allowed to go into prison?
Of course not. Ask him. No, of course not.
How do you know all this information?
Because it's reported in the New York Times, sir. I'm not, this isn't from my blog. Okay.
But all of these much they have talked to people in detention.
Keep speaking.
Go ahead, you got your
I'll wait for him. Yeah, I'm speaking. Okay, so here it goes. A current case identified by Maria Uega, a board member of the Latin American Legal Defense and Education Fund, is the April 2 arrest of Aber Gonzalez Mazariegos, who made a U-turn in Mount Holly as he followed his boss in a company cement truck. Stopped by the police, he showed his Guatemalan license. Though he has neither a deportation order nor any criminal record, and though his family paid a $300 fine, Ms. Uega said, Mr. Gonzalez was held over the weekend, then transferred to immigration custody in the Middlesex County Jail, apparently on suspicion that he overstayed his visa. He is still waiting to see an immigration judge. Okay, so these are the types of incidents that are happening, just people getting pulled over, asked questions that they're not supposed to be asked, and put in the detention center / internment camp. Okay. One last thing I want to read from the Times. I know that many of you have been involved with unions in the past. I'm a union man myself, and I'm proud of it. This is an editorial from the New York Times, Tuesday, April 21st, Immigration and the Unions. The very idea that unions would endorse legalizing illegal immigrants, as the country's two biggest labor federations did this month, strikes some as absurd. Americans have a hard enough time competing with cheap foreign labor. Why undercut them with our own borders, especially with millions of citizens losing their jobs? These questions deserve an answer, since the bad economy will only strengthen the stiff winds of opposition that President Obama will have to fight if he is going to win the sweeping immigration overhaul he has promised. Legalization was already politically treacherous thanks to the tireless work of restrictionists who have spent years denouncing illegal immigrants as harmful to the country's health. They have long compared the undocumented to invaders and parasites. It's a very short distance from there to scabs. To understand why that view is misguided, it helps to remember that the country has largely bought that argument and spent decades and billions to seal the border as tightly as possible. It stages raids to pull people off assembly lines and out of their beds and cars. It has added hundreds of thousands of prison beds, and this is me, in Middlesex County as well, is among some of those, to hold illegal immigrants and enlisted local police officers to enforce federal laws. It has done everything it can to make illegal immigrants miserable, in the hope that they will abandon their jobs, houses, and citizen children and tell everyone back home to forget about America, okay? For a long time, the unions were divided against illegal immigrants, and now unions are realizing that they are in the same boat as these illegal immigrants. One more quote here. From Terrence O'Sullivan, president of the Laborers International Union of North America. Workers don't depress wages. Unscrupulous employers do. Workers are uniting, okay? Doesn't matter of their citizenship, doesn't matter of their documented status. They're uniting with one another and realizing that the situation in this country is untenable. Sir, if you don't want me quoting from the New York Times, I can't find a more prestigious or well-reported paper unless you want me to, I don't know, come up with something else. Your question was, do they get to talk to the detainees? Do they get to talk to the detainees?
You asking me?
Yeah.
Who asked?
Does the New York Times get to talk to the detainees? Okay. So they don't, because they don't have the...
I didn't say that. The New York Times never asked to speak to anyone.
How would they would have to have an A number.
Time.
What would they have to have?
You know the answer.
No, I don't know the answer.
Time.
Time, sir.
The time is, sir.
Shame on you.
I'm Sandra Addix from New Brunswick, and I have been here before a number of times. In fact, for 2 years, I think I've been coming to these meetings and working for the same thing that previous speakers have asked for. That is that the contract be invalidated, that we not accept blood money. But we know from your boredom on your faces, from the impatience you express one way or another, that this doesn't seem to interest you. There are changes taking place in this country, and people who were once very powerful in the Bush administration now may face trial, may face arrest. may face imprisonment. So things change, and you might not be so comfortable if you continue this indifference to our request for an end to the contract, but at the very least, transparency. From time to time, we have been told that visits might be arranged with Middlesex County Detention Center. That has never emerged.
Ma'am, are you aware that there was an on-site visit which was scheduled through a number of the advocates here that was conducted last week?
From our group? We know nothing of that, right?
We received requests. We received and responded to every written request we had for a tour of the facility, which was conducted through the cooperation of that organization because they had to provide information with regard to who was coming to the facility. We responded to each well, then you make a written request. That tour was conducted last week.
I believe a written request has been made in the past, right?
I think it has, but...
Yes.
Responded to
We
each.
don't want a tour. We want to visit. As we do elsewhere.
Are you referring to the visitors program?
Yes.
Okay. The visitors program we also responded to with respect to setting up parameters for that. I don't think it was through you. I think it was through the other...
Ann Barron.
Yeah, it was through Ann Barron, correct.
No one's ever contacted us.
We responded to her, gave her the parameters, and we have not heard back from her. It's been about a month.
More like 2.5 months.
That's a little bit less than that, I think.
Well, it certainly hasn't involved people from the advocates. We've been for years now. Advocates.
Ann is an advocate. She's been here with you.
It was a group of advocates from all over the state and also from New York that came on that tour.
Just to make a record clear, we agreed to establish a visitors program. We provided the parameters. That was responded to, and I think all the parameters have been agreed to. We provided that information back. We have not heard back. So we don't want the record to reflect something that's not correct. We've agreed to a visitors program.
But who agreed to it? We have been coming here often, but we have not been consulted.
When you say we, ma'am, all we can do is respond to the written request we received. We responded to that.
Actually, we addressed...
Excuse me, she let her finish. She has...
Sorry, I apologize.
Yeah.
About the New York Times, which I assume most of you do not read, I heard some scornful comment or reference made to it. The New York Times, which recently won 5 Pulitzer Prizes, is the most esteemed newspaper in this country and is known for the thoroughness of its investigations. And that's why so many of us who've been reading that paper for years have confidence in that newspaper that we do not have confidence anywhere else. But at this point, at some point, you are going to, I know that eventually the kinds of activities that go on here without any kind of benefit to the detainees, whenever they, for example, when I first became involved, when I saw a petition from detainees. And when we became interested or tried to correspond with them, we learned that most of them had been transferred to some other place, usually far away from their own families. Unfortunately, the ICE contracts are very welcome in most communities around the country, not just this one. There are lots of communities who welcome the contracts because it brings money into the community.
Anybody else would like to speak? No, you can't speak no more. No, you only have, you had your 5 minutes, ma'am. We can't do it. We would have to give everybody else a chance.
You can provide copies to the clerk.
You give her copies. You can give the
I
copies.
can put copies, but you have to know what are the articles.
All you have to do is
Just give it
provide
to Margaret,
provide
yeah.
them to her, and she will give us
Margaret
an
will take care
explanation
of
of
it.
what they are.
She'll get it to us.
Even knowing the title of article is too much for you?
Anybody else would like to speak on any subject, 5 minutes? Motion to close the public hearing, discussion. Motion by Rios, second by Rufano. Motion now to adjourn the meeting. Motion by Rufano, second by Rufano. Motion adjourned, non-debatable. Thank you.